Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to this ND Symposium, or PDN Symposium, if you're still in the old language. And good morning for the afternoon, our graduation ceremony. But this morning we will, of course, first celebrate our largest, biggest, maybe event ever. At least 500 and a little bit more PDNs or NDs have been delivered up till now from the TU Delft. And we are extremely proud of that. And to really underline this pride, I am very happy to be able to chair this morning's symposium and also to chair this afternoon's graduation ceremony. My name is Pauline Herder and I am the Dean of the Faculty of Applied Sciences. And this is the faculty where all the programs that we will celebrate today are a member of, part of our portfolio. Before we start, as you may have noticed, we have a couple of cameras laid out in our hall here. And this is for our streaming participants, because we will have quite some online participants this morning, but also this afternoon when we are up for the graduation ceremony. So if you are a speaker today, please stand here, because then the camera guys and girls will see you. And if you are in the audience and you really do not want to be on tape, please let the cameramen or women, but I think it's all men, please let them know and they will try to keep you out of the field of view. Of course, goes without saying, no telephone, well, put it on silent. You can use it to take some photographs of the great speakers we're gonna have, not me. And then I'll be keeping track of the time. And so don't worry, I'll be quite strict. For those of you who know me, they know I can be quite strict on time. So especially speakers this morning, I'm looking at you and I'm frowning at you, but also the other speakers today. I'll keep track of the time, don't worry. We will be in time for coffee, we will be in time for lunch. So, welcome to this event. And what we have currently, over 100 participants online. So the audience here, I am very happy to see quite a full room here, and maybe some other more people will join us this morning here live. But we have at least 100 participants online today. And who are they? Who are here in the hall and who are online? Well, of course, alumni. And we have had a lot of registrations from alumni from our PDN programs, or even previously the TWAIO programs. And currently, the first few graduates from the ND program, but they are probably already in the hall here. We will also see online, but also here, company representatives of companies who have adopted and taken part in our ND program as teachers, but of course mainly as mentors for the final and the design group projects. We see also a couple of a bit nervous trainees who are about to graduate today. Rest assured, you will graduate. And you will see a couple of TU Delft staff members. People you have seen as teachers, people who are still teaching the next generation of ND, people who have taught in the past, the previous generations of TWAIOs and NDs. So it's a very nice mixed bag of people. Make sure you use that also to network a bit today. Today's program, as I already said, it's full, but I will make sure, if you help me a little bit, to keep track of the time. And in this morning, we will have first a small block of, let's say, faculty representatives, proud representatives, who will tell you and the audience a bit more about the programs, and especially about the past, how they fit in, what makes us proud, how they work, etc. All of this to celebrate that we have more than 500 ND graduates as of today. Then we'll have a quick coffee break. Well, maybe not quick, we'll see. And then we will move to another 3-4 lectures of graduates, talking about what they learned, what they are doing, how they can apply the knowledge gained in the ND program. So this is a nice combination in the morning. And I will try to glue these talks together. At the end, I will close and you can run off to the lunch. And after the lunch, we will continue with the formal graduation ceremony. Well, I've been saying over 500 degrees by now. And where are these degrees? Most of them, as you can see on this slide, have graduated from the PED, the Process and Equipment Design program. And it runs already for 32 years. And in that period, we have graduated 251 trainees. The other programs are just slightly younger, and there's even a very young program, Bioproduct Design, and they have overall also graduated, all of them together, also over 250 graduates. So it's a very interesting and long-living program already. And it's also, I mean, it started with TWAIO, PDeng, EngD. We also like to change the name now and then, but that means we have been living here for a long time. 32 years and counting. We're not in any way trying to stop it. These over 512 people have 52 nationalities. And here is a nice overview of where these trainees came from. So this is their nationality, not where they work or where they're currently living, but their nationalities. And you see over 100 Dutch graduates, and then it's a very wide spectrum of graduates all over the globe. And this is also part of the interesting aspect of this program. It's a really international program. So it's not just about training the PDengs or the EngDs in becoming great designers. It also trains you, it trains them to work in an international team. And nothing is more relevant these days to be able to do that, to overcome cultural barriers, to understand where people come from. And our programs clearly achieve this. Well, you might wonder, interesting, these PDengs, and the graduates here in the hall, they know where they are. But as I already said, we are a very proud owner. We host these PDengs as the Faculty of Applied Sciences. So we have asked the organizers, Chris Klein, to talk a little bit more about how these programs fit into our entire educational program of the Faculty of Applied Sciences. And he will do that for us in about, Chris, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. No, please, the floor is yours, Chris.
It's on. So thank you, Pauline, and thank you to the organizing committee for being here. It's a great pleasure to talk to you as the Director of Education of the Faculty of Applied Sciences on the role that this beautiful program plays within our entire education and PhD portfolio. A little bit about TU Delft. So TU Delft is an engineering school. It educates engineers. We educate engineers. And our motto is impact for a better society. It has recently been reiterated by our board that that is what TU Delft wants to do. Some numbers, the oldest technical university in the Netherlands with a large number, 28,000 students, and we have just laid out a plan to grow to like 35 or 40,000 students. More than 1,000 PhD students, more than 1,000 professors, a large budget, 700 million euros per year, and among the top universities according to various rankings in the world. When I say we educate engineers, the question might arise, what is an engineer, and particularly, what does it mean to raise an academically trained engineer? And for that, I would like to borrow a little wisdom from the East. So let's go to Japan, and let's look at the Japanese symbol, the kanji, so that's their simplified writing. The kanji symbol for engineer looks like this. And the explanation, as I've heard it from a Japanese colleague, is that the upper horizontal line represents heaven, so science or truth. And the lower horizontal line represents earth, which stands for technology and practice. And an engineer, an academically trained engineer, relates science and truth to technology and practice, or vice versa. And that is, I think, what we try to do in Delft in all our education programs. And these education programs, they evolve around three main topics from that same philosophy: science, design, and engineering. And that triad makes an engineer. So we have 16 bachelor programs, more than 80 master programs, and we have a graduate school in which PhD candidates are trained. But today we're not talking about either of these. We're talking about the ND program. And you might say that the ND program is at the core of that triangle, combining science, design, and engineering. What is the engineering doctorate? Well, this is a graph which shows how a young person, I don't know whether this pointer works. No, it doesn't. Well, in the lower left corner, that's where 18-year-olds come from high school and they start their training. And then they can grow in applied science, in applied knowledge, and in design. That's on the horizontal axis. And they can grow in fundamental science and research on the vertical axis. And in their first 3 years towards a bachelor degree, they grow in both, but mostly in the engineering and the more practical knowledge. And then if they continue for a 2-year master program, that's how we organize it in Delft and in most of Western Europe, then they move towards more scientific fundamental knowledge and a little bit increase yet in applied knowledge. And then for those, a minority that continue to do a 4-year PhD, there the focus is mostly on fundamental knowledge and much less on applied knowledge. Parallel to that, we have a 4-year professional bachelor at the universities of applied science, the polytechnics, and that is mostly geared towards becoming a practical trained engineer. And now we also have, the PhD is geared towards mostly questions like why and what, and the result are data, theory, and the most important product, a researcher. But we also have this engineering doctorate program, which is a 2-year program following the master degree, mostly pointing towards practical knowledge and much less on fundamental knowledge. And that leads to an engineering doctorate degree, mostly revolving around the question, what if? And the result is a product or a process or a designer. And a designer, I should say. So, how did this program, with all its predecessors, Pauline mentioned all the various names, evolve? It started in 1986 with a technological designer program at the 3 technical universities in Delft, Twente, Delft, and Eindhoven. And in 2006, it became the Stan Akkerman 3TU School for Technological Design. In 2016, Wageningen joined, and then it became a 4TU School for Technological Design. Just recently, 1 year ago, the official name switched to a PDN degree, from a PDN degree to an engineering doctorate degree. Here you see the number of graduates. Almost 5,000 have graduated in the Netherlands in this 4TU Stan Akkerman Institute. To be fair, Eindhoven plays the largest role in that. More than 3,000 of those have graduated in Eindhoven, and a little bit less than 1,000 in Delft. When you look at the programs being offered, you also see that there is a great many programs being offered in Eindhoven, and also a decent number being offered in Delft and in Twente. And in Delft, it's mostly around chemical engineering, biochemical engineering, and civil engineering that we offer programs. So the first 3, bioprocess engineering, chemical product engineering, and process and equipment design, are in our Faculty of Applied Sciences. And of course, the 4th one is in the Faculty of Civil Engineering and Earth Sciences. Currently, the program in our faculty, in the Applied Sciences faculty, is employing something like 20 to 25 trainees per year. We're being highly selective there. We try to hire only from the top 20% of master graduates around the world, as Pauline has already shown, and only some 14% of the applicants get a position offered. And we have 3 tracks which have already been mentioned: bioprocess engineering, chemical product design, and process and equipment design. What does the program look like? Well, it's a 2-year program. In the first year consists of 3 parts, 3 phases. Phase A and followed by Phase C, and parallel to that is Phase B. So Phase A, as you can read, is focused towards personal and business skills and some broadening of the technical knowledge. And it's followed in Phase C by a group design product, which is usually an assignment from industry. And in parallel to both Phase A and Phase B, students learn about design tools, design methodology, and domain knowledge, so a further broadening of their knowledge in the field. And then in the second year, they do an individual design project with industry, usually also resident on-site within a company, in either biochemical or energy or food or life science companies. More than 500 graduates, 512 Pauline mentioned in Delft. A large international influx, 75 to 90% has also been mentioned already. And more than 80% of the graduates start their career in the Dutch industry. So we actually effectively bring in a large knowledge base from around the world to contribute to the Dutch economy. To end up with, what have been and what will continue to be the success factors of the engineering doctorate degree program within Applied Sciences? Well, the strict selection of high-quality students, a dedicated staff. So there is staff that is particularly especially dedicated to the engineering doctorate program, but at the same time there is a large involvement from the other staff, the PIs, from the chemical engineering and the biotechnology departments. As a result of that integration with these 2 research departments, there is a strong integration with our ongoing research, from which also the companies and the students profit. Collaboration with industry, funding from industry, all those second-year projects are funded by industry. And finally, of course, the continued commitment from the TU Delft management at faculty level, at the central level, from the graduate school, etc. And here you see an overview that has been handed to me of all the companies, or many of the companies, that the program has been collaborating with, and that shows that indeed it has strong roots within and strong connections with the industry in Western Europe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Chris, for perfect timekeeping and for your very clear overview of where the EngD programs fit into our education portfolio. Now we move on with the next speaker, Marcel Ottens, already ready to go in the next 15 minutes. He will talk to you about the Bioprocess Engineering EngD program. And why does Marcel do that? First, because he is one of our colleagues, but of course he's a great colleague. He is the director of that program. So Marcel, the floor is yours. Next 15 minutes, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Pauline, for this kind introduction and also for chairing this session. So, after this nice introduction into what an EngD program is, I would like to say a few things about the bioprocess, or the bio-related programs. Indeed, so bioprocess engineering, but also bioproduct design. And I would like to position this in this field, this ecosystem where we are within Delft. So this is about Delft. There's a biotech ecosystem consisting of the Knowledge Institute, so the Department of Biotechnology, but also broader over the faculty and the university. So we have institutes in biotechnology. We have different campuses. We have Campus South, but also we have the Campus North, where we are now. So this is the former DSM venue, where we now have Planet Bio, so the Biotech Campus Delft, where we have ideas becoming, new businesses. So we have a lot of startups, we have scale-ups, and we can develop ideas along all the TRL levels here. And as Chris already nicely mentioned, so the distinction between a PhD and an ND would be to work more on the applied sciences instead of going into the deep fundamental scientific knowledge. So these ND programs, they can help in fueling the innovation here. So one very nice example here was recently highlighted in a cover. What was it? The cover story of this new initiative of Delft University, so Pioneering Tech, where the protein transition was highlighted, and some startups and scale-ups that are active here in Delft, where we also work and collaborate with the ND program, were highlighted. So this is Meatable. And they make cultivated meat as a replacement for animal-derived meat. So I think this is one of the nice stories where we in Delft can contribute to the innovation. We are part of Applied Sciences. We are located at the Department of Biotechnology. And what is the Department of Biotechnology doing? So that's being highlighted here at the top right corner. So central is the society, so we would like to make an impact on society. We look at this via two approaches, so the science approach, but also the engineering approach, and we apply this in different fields. And so looking at cells, but the enzymes, what is in the cell, but also what is outside the cell, so these are the processes. What can we do with these cells to make valuable products? And recently, well, it's not recently anymore, but 2016, we moved to the new building of Applied Sciences, where we now share offices with chemical engineering in the engineering, the ND program. So this particular education, so this ND program, falls within the spectrum of the education that we provide at the biotechnology department. So we have a bachelor, we have a master's study in life science and technology, and we have Biotech Delft course, but we also have this ND program. So we have approximately 20 NDs in the program. So how did it all start? And so it was founded in 1994 by our former colleague, the professor at biotechnology, the dean, and the rector magnificus Karel Luyben. And until now, we have 176 enrolled ND trainees. The first diploma was in '96. A lot of countries, a lot of nationalities. And what you see here is also, the ratio between female and male candidates that we have. So you can see there's a distribution, and you can also see that we had a peak some time ago in the number of ND trainees that we hired at the time. So now it's a little bit lower, and also we had a pandemic. And what you see at the right here, that these NDs, they are very successful in industry. So these are two candidates from our track. They find positions here in the biopharma industry, here in Leiden and also in Nijmegen, and now in Switzerland. Well, now also in Switzerland. And below you see a list of companies where and institutions where our graduates end up and making a contribution to society. So this is the current team. So I'm happy to be involved here together with Patricia and also Ana Maria Echeverria and Joana Pereira. Those are the design supervisors and the previous faculty that was involved in establishing this program. Karel, Lies van der Meer, Yvonne van Gameren, Luc van der Wielen, who is here and who will also address you at the end of the morning, Adrie Straathoff and Jennifer Baptiste. Now, what is a bioprocess? So this is an example of a bioprocess. And so what's bio here? So we have a process, we make use of biological material to produce useful products. And here we have bio feedstock, and that will be processed. And we have particular bio steps here, so that's enzymatic conversion, and also making use of the feed via microorganisms to convert this in useful products. And you can see lots of different steps that need to be designed in order to make economically feasible process. So that would be on the bio-based product side, but also in the pharma side. So you see a typical process scheme here for pharma. So we have cell culture, and then we need to do all kinds of processing steps to come to, a purified and useful product. And we are dealing here with a process system synthesis problem. So which unit operations, how to combine them, and under what conditions should we operate this process. And in these programs, we try to make use of all the knowledge that we have and all the engineering aspects we have over the different scales to make a most optimal process. And this is the result, the output of the program. Those are our graduates, and they make a contribution to society. Now, where do they come from? Like Pauline already mentioned, we have lots of nationalities. And this is zoomed in on the bioprocess engineering, 31 nationalities, 176 candidates up till now. And I was surprised to see these latest numbers because I thought the Dutch were not leading this. But still, they are. So with 32. We started off with, of course, a lot of Dutch candidates, but over the years it became more and more and more international. And you can also see that we have a large Spanish-speaking contingent here, so the Colombians, but also the Portuguese. They are very well represented and present in our community. A little bit about the program itself, so it's deepening and broadening, and for this program, and we have some compulsory courses which are really on the bio part, so fermentation technology, microbial physiology, and we have the design courses, so advanced principles of product and product design, etc. And then they go into industry in their individual design project. But before doing so, we have a large variety of electives they can choose from, and here we have an overview of the courses that are being selected to support their education. And you can see that we have these advanced courses and being provided by Biotech Delft on various aspects of bioprocess development. So bioprocess design, of course, scale up and scale down, downstream processing, and the simulation and the separation advanced courses. So this is not being done in a vacuum. So the program is in the department. So we work with the PIs of biotechnology, and here you see an overview of the PIs that are the core of the department, with which we do design projects in collaboration with the research done by these PIs. Now, what are then examples of GDP, group design projects, and individual design projects? You can see a few titles here, but you can see it's varied over different application areas with different companies and touching upon various aspects of processes in the biotechnology area. And again, also with Mosameat, Meatball, DSM, so in this ecosystem for innovation in the biotech area. Looking a little bit closer to the application area, you can see that biopharma is big, but also food and environmental biotechnology is big. And we have some other application areas as well, so the production of chemicals, etc. An overview of the industrial partners we have recently been working with. So we are very fortunate to have very good relations with the industry, and we are able to show to industry, well, the added value of the program, and they're happy to take our candidates, and we have former candidates that will also address us about the added value of the program. So I'm very happy with this program, how it relates and also brings the technologies that we develop at the university into industrial practice. I was talking about the bioprocess engineering program. We also had for a period of time the bioproduct design program, and here you see the curriculum. Also, these are about designing skills, economic evaluations, etc. But it is more on the product, and people could choose a certain specialization track via the electives. And at the time, it was Klaas van der Driet and Janine Keers and Jurt Tone who ran this program. But after, I think, around 8 or 9 years, we decided to terminate this program because, in contrast to process engineering or working on processes, working on products, that's more difficult to collaborate with industry. So we had an issue in finding sufficient projects with industry on product-related topics. But we had quite some candidates. You see an overview of the candidates that we had here from their nationalities. I think, well, the Dutch were also present, but we had more Indian people and a variety of other countries, nationalities that participated in this program. So it's a lot of work, as you can see. It's a dense program, so people make a lot of hours, but they do have time also to have a life. So there is a healthy work-life balance here, as you can see from this from these pictures. So they're still able to enjoy life, and they're still alive. So what is the key of these programs? And translating concepts from research into new processes in industry and help these industries with process improvement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marcel. There is 1 minute left for questions. Is there any question for Marcel? Just one. I was wondering about a healthy work-life balance, but let's ask that later today.
I think the NGDs can elaborate on that a little bit.
I think so too. Yeah. Thank you very much, Marcel.
Thank you, Pauline.
So, now we have heard a little bit about the bio side of our programs. And next up is Peter Swinkels, also a very great and nice colleague in the Faculty of Applied Sciences. Peter and I, we know each other for quite a long time now already, I think. We took courses together on leadership. Well, look where that took us. No, I'm kidding. But Peter, I'm very happy and thrilled to invite you on the stage here. Also keep sort of here, so no shuffling, not too much. And we all know you as a colleague of the Faculty of Applied Sciences in the Chemical Engineering Department, but mainly, of course, as the one and only Mr. NGD, I would almost say, and director of the chemical side of our NGD programs. So, Peter, 15 minutes for you. Take the floor.
Thank you very much, Pauline. Well, it's very nice to see many generations of PDEng engineering doctorates here in the room. Also, I know some of them are present online. And today I would like to focus a bit more on the generation people aspect of these programs. Being a granddad now for 3 years, I feel a bit more in this generation issue. So I thought, well, this would be a nice kind of focus on these programs. We have already seen some generations of titles, degrees, so that's moving on. but there is more to come in my presentation here. You saw this graph of Eindhoven taking the lead in the number of these engineering doctorates. Professor Stan Akkermans, he was the rector at that time when I was a student in Eindhoven. He was also in the same, he was living, I think, 300 meters from my house, and he was also in the same church. I made a pivot point, and there is a pivot point here also for this program. So this talk of mine is about decisions of persons in their personal life, and also inspiration by others, building on the knowledge and inspiration of other people. The MTD programs, they started very enthusiastically at all the universities. Also, Delft had many programs in the beginning. That's why we have 800 graduates so far, but we have 500 in the bio and chemical engineering discipline. And why that is, this slide will show this. It's very important to have good quality master trainees, master graduates that will enroll, and also you need industry that will cooperate for these projects. So after 8 years of this first, say 8 years, we had many Dutch trainees, but then the number of students in the Netherlands, they really went down. You cannot imagine, now you see a lot of increase in engineering students. At that time, the university also here said, well, we need to internationalize our programs. We also started to internationalize our master programs, and we did the same for the PDN or TWIO program at that time. It was very crucial to have a dedicated staff put together to really run this program, and my predecessors, Kees Lutijn, Peter Janssen and Gillian Bierman, who was already there at that time, they really made a start with the support of the dean, Karel Luijbe at that time, but also Gijs Ooms, departmental head of chemical engineering. 1 year later, I also made a change myself. I was working 15 years in industry. I knew what I liked, working with talent, trying to scale up and introduce new products and processes. And after seeing an advertisement just in the Saturday newspaper about this option in Delft, I thought, this is the way to go. So I met with Johan Griewink, Karel Luijbe, who was also my thesis professor when I came for 1 year here in Delft, and I joined this department. If you look then to what happens after that, so this was a pivot point for the program, more international. What we saw was that professors, they really connected to their colleagues abroad, saying, well, we have this program, do you have highly qualified master students that can join? That really helped. You will see later on, if we look to the nationalities, it really started with the context of the professors that were at that time in Delft and had their international contacts. You can also see that the generations are moving on from the staff, also the design lecturers, but in the next slide I will also show you the vast amount of principal investigators, researchers that have been contributing to this program. And it's still 2023, it's still going strong. So what were design themes? I went through all these reports, the 300 plus that I've seen from the chemical engineering side. Yeah, the first years it was about process improvement, optimization, then process innovation, some new feedstocks, then between 2010, process intensification, and there you see the diversification. Novel materials, energy transition, electrification, circular chemistry. We had these institutes also in Delft. The Delft Center of Sustainable Industrial Processes, also headed by Peter Janssens at that time. Then the Delft Process Technology Institute, e-refinery, and now the Product and Process and Product Technology Institute that is there. So the researchers that are active in this program are close connected to the engineering doctorate program. If we look then at the generations of scientific supervisors over the years, and I'm very privileged to have known them all from the beginning. I started later, but the ones that are still at the beginning, They were still there, and it was a privilege to work with them over the years. You can also see that there are many of these professors that have a long learn, so these are only the top that had really supervised many projects. So there are many more involved, but these have really supervised 5+ of these projects. So you see Gerda van Rosmalen, Kok van der Bleek, Johan Grievink present here. He was really at the start of this engineering doctorate program in the beginning. Jacob Moulijn, Free Kaptein, so you can read the names. You can see also we diversify. Many stay involved, but we also have the new talents. Tony Kiss, Tom Bordini, Andrea, Johan Padding, David van Maas, Monique van der Veen, and also many to follow, Arthur Schweitman and Anna Somoza. So they get involved, they get inspired, they also see the value of this design program for their research. Of course, this program in chemical engineering and also in biotechnology, we have seen that at some point we needed also design supervisors to connect, to work together with the scientific supervisors. And here you can see the generations of the design supervisors, where Farzad Moussazadeh is the last addition. So he has really moving into dynamic optimization, dynamic modeling. But you can also see Heliam Bierman. He was there from the start. I think Heliam is the one who spent most hours on engineering doctorate programs of anybody in the Netherlands and thus in the world. And this, I say this very often because I'm also linked to the sport of korfbal. And if you are really the best team in the Netherlands, you are also the best korfbal club in the world. Okay, then of course, we cannot do these projects or these trainings without the support from the industry. I also went back, where did it start? Who were of course, you have the usual suspects. Shell, of course. They started from the beginning, they're still active. Sometimes they are off for two years when they reorganize, but then they come full swing, they come back. Then we have DSM, or the generations of DSM, because the DSM in the beginning is not DSM what it is right now, so these companies move through generations as well. AkzoNobel, another example of a generation of companies. We work with AkzoNobel, Central, Albemarle, Teijin, Nobian. Yesterday I saw my colleague Marco Waas on the 8 o'clock news. He was my colleague when I joined Unilever. And it's nice to see that how this moves on. Unilever, also a company a bit smaller. I had expected with my network we would have many more projects, but then ECN TNO, also important. Pura, Corbion, Friesland Campina, and also Friesland Campina from Coberco Campina. They went through generations and they also realized for innovation, for international exposure, you need new products, new processes. Of course, these are not all the companies. We have many more. These are the ones that have multiple of these projects. You also see that it diversifies also for startups that come from TU Delft, that we have helped with design to start up, to move on, to get more funding. And you also see that it moves into materials, ingredients for food and health as well. In this program, 38 nationalities for the 302. We started, I think, with the 60 Dutch. They are from the first 7-8 years. After that, you can see where the contacts of the professors at that time were. In Turkey, Peter Janssens, Gerda van Rosmalen had many contacts at Middle East Technical University and Istanbul Technical University. Once you start contact with these universities, you know what is the value and the level. This continues. The same with India. India also in Mumbai, we had good contacts, and this will continue over the years. Well, graduation was already, efficiency was already mentioned by Chris. We have very high graduation efficiency, and that's because we have very tough recruitment, and that makes it very inspiring to work with the candidates. You can also demand a lot of things from them. Sometimes, yeah, Marcel talked about the work-life balance. It's not so much that we demand it, it's much more their own motivation, because they used to be the best students of their university, and then they come to Delft. We have a different teaching method. We require more on the creativity side, on the analysis side, and they want to work more and harder, and we need and learn to teach them to work smarter there. The other thing that we see is that many trainees, that once they graduate, they not only want to work for multinationals. When I graduated, nobody wanted to work, nobody knew what a startup was. Now, many trainees, they join a startup company right now, or they request, can't we just do an individual design project with a startup company? A really big variety of requests from trainees that we try to honor. The other aspect to mention as well is the Employee Association of the Engineering Doctorate Trainees, or PDN trainees. This association is a very important addition to the organization of these programs. They self-organize a lot of events. They do the public relations with international universities. They have a yearly study trip, also company visits, social, cultural events, just to make sure that, yeah, you feel quickly at home when you arrive here. It really helps a lot, and I think everybody that is in this room and was part of this organization, so the organization is self-propelling, will see this also as a very big advantage. I want to end with to say goodbye to the previous generation of design supervisors. Was Gillian Bierman. We were able to hand him the Stan Akkermans medal in February this year. A very well-deserved token for him. Well, the other thing I would like to mention is that in Delft, chemical engineering, Johan Grievink was really at the start of this program. And I'm really happy to see that the PSE-NL Association has really instigated this yearly award that will be handed out this year for the third time, the Johan Grievink Award for Best Thesis of PhD or NhD Thesis in the Process Systems Engineering. And as Delft, we won the first one 2 years ago. Gabriella Hadivinoto from the Chemical Product Design Program. This year we also submitted 4 entries, and I think it's in 1 week time we have this meeting here in Delft, so we will see who will take this award this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter. Is there a question for Peter? If not, I would like to keep you on the stage for just a little longer, Peter. You okay. Have really shown the type of guy, type of person, type of colleague you are by putting the spotlight all the time on other people. So now, Peter, it is time to put the spotlight on you. Because you have been the director of TWAIO, PDN, ND programs for a very long time, since 2004, as you explained just now. And you are also the TU Delft coordinator for the 4TU Stan Akkermans Institute. And you have been fulfilling this role dramatically and fantastically for the past 20 years. Excellent and always with great pleasure. Peter, every time we meet and you have an issue or a question, you are always upbeat and optimistic that we will solve any issues that arise. And you have been at the cradle of these programs and continued to be a great supporter. Also in the recent changes towards the graduate school, always there to provide good advice of what will work and what may probably not work in the TU Delft context. But not only on the management side of the program, you have been an excellent colleague. You have also formalized biochemical product process design methodologies. You have taught them yourself to the graduates and to the students. And you have a fantastic network, as you have shown, with the industry. And this, of course, is of great importance for this program. And not just the process industry, as maybe a sort of outsider might think, oh, Peter, chemical engineering is probably Shell. No, you have seen it on the slides, and his network is really fantastic. Energy, food, fuels, health, specialty chemicals, you are all over the place, Peter. Well, this collaboration of Peter embodies really the innovation through design approach that bridges the gap between the university's fundamental research and the implementation of new products in that industry. And you captured this approach in the 2018 book that you co-wrote with two of your colleagues, André de Haan and Jan Harmsen. And the book is called Product and Process Design, Driving Innovation. And I'm sure that all the people in this hall know this book and probably read the book and probably put it under their pillow as their Bible for the rest of their lives, or maybe professional lives. And especially chapter 4, Designing for Innovation, the basis of the ND, really defines you. This is you, Peter. Mm-hmm. Finally, within Delft, as I already said, you are the coordinator. You fulfill a fantastic role in connecting people from different faculties, different departments, different layers in the organization, making it a central office, just fantastic. So, Peter, doing all of that while keeping happy and healthy and always have a keen eye for quality of the program and the students in the program, it is my great pleasure, as you may have guessed by now, to offer you the Stan Akkermans Medal of Design. Here you go. Congratulations, Peter. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, this is of course well timed, because now you can all go for a coffee break and congratulate Peter on this great achievement. Time for coffee. you.